It was just another normal weekday. I grabbed my coffee, headed to work, and didn't think twice about what was happening back at home. But around lunchtime, I got a weird notification from my remote security system. Something was off. At first, I figured it was just a glitch. But then the alerts kept coming. Motion detected, front door accessed, lock disengaged. I pulled up the live feed, and what I saw left me stunned. People were in my house. Not burglars, not strangers, the HOA. Apparently, while I was away, the Homeowners Association decided to change the locks on my door, without warning, without permission. I couldn't believe it, and the craziest part, they had no idea that I had a fully working remote surveillance and security setup watching their every move. I had built it myself over the past year, quietly, piece by piece, just for peace of mind. Never thought I'd need it for this. I started recording everything: audio, video, time-stamped logs. The footage they didn't know existed was about to become the key to unraveling what really went down. Why did they target my unit? Why didn't they give me a heads up? And what were they really looking for inside? That's when I realized this wasn't just a mistake. Something deeper was going on, and I was ready to find out. So here's where things start getting weird. I live in a quiet neighborhood where the HOA usually only sends emails about trash days and lawn care. I'd never had any serious issues with them. Maybe a notice here or there about leaving my garbage bins out too long. Nothing major. So when I saw them on my cameras unlocking my front door and walking inside like they owned the place, I was completely caught off guard. No calls, no emails, nothing in writing, just a changed lock and people going through my entryway. I started thinking, was this even legal? Why would they feel the need to access my home without notifying me? And then another thought hit me. What if they were after something they thought I had? Or maybe they thought I was gone for good. I didn't know, but the whole situation didn't sit right. I pulled up the footage from every angle: doorbell cam, living room cam, even the tiny camera I installed near the hallway thermostat just for fun. What I saw wasn't just them checking on a leak or safety issue. They were opening drawers, walking into rooms, even looking around like they were searching for something specific. That's when my stomach dropped. They weren't just checking in, they had a purpose, and I was about to find out what it was. I spent the rest of the day glued to my phone, watching clips, rewinding footage, and saving backups. The more I looked, the more questions I had. It wasn't just a casual walkthrough. One of the HOA board members, a guy I'd seen maybe once at a community meeting, was directing the whole thing. He wasn't just standing by. He was pointing to specific areas, whispering to another person, even checking my mail on the counter. That felt way out of line. Later that evening, I called a couple of neighbors I trust. One of them, Sarah, said she'd seen a locksmith van parked outside my place around noon, but didn't think much of it. Another neighbor mentioned he got a notice slipped under his door a week ago about unit inspections due to a maintenance issue. I never got that notice. That's when a small detail started to bother me. 2 weeks ago, I filed a complaint about poor drainage behind the building. Could this be connected? Maybe I pushed too hard. Maybe I annoyed someone higher up. But none of that justified what they did, entering my home without my consent. I started digging into past HOA complaints in the community. I found online threads from old residents saying they'd left after similar run-ins. Locks changed, access denied, but nothing ever got proven. Now it's happening to me, and this time I've got the footage. The next morning, I took a personal day from work. I couldn't focus knowing people had been inside my home without my permission. I kept replaying the clips, trying to catch anything I might have missed. That's when I noticed something strange. One of the board members, someone I'd never even interacted with, picked up a folder from my desk, flipped through it, and then put it back, but in the wrong spot. It was a file related to a small tech project I'd been working on, a smart home system I was developing on the side. Nothing public. Nothing I'd ever mentioned to anyone in the complex. My mind was racing. How would they even know about that? And why touch that asterisk folder out of everything in my home? It wasn't just a curiosity anymore. It felt targeted. I decided to pull all the metadata from my security logs, entry times, motion events, even Bluetooth signals picked up by nearby devices. One name kept popping up from a device ping, the same board member. Their phone had connected to my Wi-Fi for a brief second. That shouldn't have been possible, unless they had the password. That was the moment it all shifted. This wasn't just about the HOA overstepping boundaries. Someone inside the board had access to my private network, and the only question left was, how long had they been watching me? And why now? Just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder, something happened that completely flipped everything I thought I knew. That night, while reviewing the motion-triggered clips again, I saw a new alert pop up. Asterisk motion detected. Backyard gate. 1:13 a.m. asterisk. I hadn't even been focused on the backyard before, but I had a small battery-powered camera tucked near the fence line. I clicked play. There it was, someone, dressed in black, with a flashlight, carefully stepping into my yard. Not fast, not clumsy, like they'd done it before. They avoided the main lights, moved straight to the back wall of my house, and crouched near the outdoor power box. Then they just stood there for a moment, like they were checking something. And then they left. No tools, no damage, just gone. That's when it hit me. My home wasn't just entered during the day. Someone had come back, even after everything, and whoever it was knew exactly where my cameras weren't pointed. I checked my system logs again. Around that same time, the signal to one of my cameras briefly dropped, just for 20 seconds, but it had never done that before. It was like someone was testing my defenses, seeing how much I could see and what they could get away with. That's when I realized this wasn't about the HOA anymore. This was something bigger, something personal. I knew I couldn't just sit on this anymore. The footage, the security logs, the nighttime trespasser, it was too much to ignore. I backed everything up to a hard drive, printed still images with timestamps, and decided to confront the HOA directly. I requested an emergency meeting, told them I had video proof of unauthorized entry, and asked for the full explanation, on record. At first, they tried to brush it off, claimed it was a safety check and that I'd missed a notice. But when I played the footage in the room, clear video of them inside my home, opening personal files, followed by the mystery figure in my backyard, everything changed. Their expressions tightened. One board member, the same one whose device pinged my Wi-Fi, stood up and walked out mid-meeting. That was my confirmation. Later that day, I got a call, not from the HOA, but from a former board member who had moved out months earlier. She'd seen my post in a community group and told me something shocking. Apparently, there had been quiet talks about acquiring homes in the complex for a redevelopment deal. But to do that, they needed certain owners to leave, especially ones who had high-tech setups or custom systems that could block planned infrastructure upgrades. Turns out, my remote security system wasn't just protecting me, it had also made me a target. After hearing what the former board member told me, everything finally made sense. My tech setup wasn't just a nuisance to them, it was a threat to their behind-the-scenes plan. They couldn't easily force me out, so they tried to intimidate me quietly, hoping I'd back down or miss something. But thanks to my remote security system, I caught everything they didn't want me to see. I filed a formal complaint with legal support and submitted all the footage and documentation. Within weeks, an investigation was launched. That board member who walked out, he resigned before they could question him. A few others were replaced, and the redevelopment deal got shelved. I didn't get an apology, but I got something better, the truth. Looking back, it's wild how a simple decision to build my own security setup ended up protecting more than just my stuff. It uncovered something much deeper, how power can be misused quietly, right under your nose. If there's one thing I'd say to anyone watching this, protect your space. Ask questions, don't ignore the little things. because sometimes it's those small alerts, the ones you almost dismiss, that end up exposing the biggest secrets. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and trust your instincts.